Can you lose weight on a low carb diet? That is a great question. And with so many different trendy diets out there, you may have been wondering if a low carb diet is really the best approach for helping you hit your weight loss goals. If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. I'm here to answer that question in today's video, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause, Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine, and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we're going to be going over the #1 diet strategy that does not have a trendy name attached to it that is guaranteed for your weight loss goal success. This specific strategy has been proven for decades. Then we'll cover the most common mistakes you're unknowingly making that are sabotaging your weight loss goals. If you're not losing weight while following this specific method, there is a reason. And finally, I will be sharing with you the key to permanent weight loss that your medical doctor won't mention. Let's get started. Okay, what is it? What is the most effective diet strategy that has been proven for decades that doesn't have a trendy name attached to it? It is eating with specific ratios in mind. Now, this is not the same as a macro diet, just for clarification. This is not necessarily paleo. It's not keto. It's not a specific carbohydrate, type of a diet. It was never given a trendy name. Okay. Ultimately, what we've realized since the early 70s, which is kind of where I saw most of this research began, is that humans as a whole responded best whole body health wise to this particular type of a diet strategy. Their blood pressure was better, their inflammatory markers improved, their diabetic markers got better, so did their thyroid, and specific to weight loss, their body composition got better. Not just their BMI, but their fat to lean muscle mass ratios also improved. So what do these ratios actually look like? This is the low carbohydrate diet, okay? But you have to be eating fat and you have to be eating proteins. You don't want to cut out all your fat as well. You're not going to get enough nutrients. So when we talk about low carbohydrate, what exactly does that mean? Ultimately, what the research has shown since the 70s is that if you're consuming 20% or less of whatever you're eating that day in the form of carbohydrates, that is a better approach. Here's the thing. Carbohydrates are not all created equally either, as I'm sure you know. Staying away from sugars is kind of a big deal. But the other misnomer that we've been taught that ends up not being true is that something else that's really stressful and can cause weight gain are a ton of grains. We were not designed to eat grains at every single meal. This 20% of carbohydrates, the source of carbohydrates you should be seeking out are those from our vegetables. Americans do not eat enough vegetables, and I'm sorry if you don't like them, but if you want permanent weight loss, you need to eat your veggies, okay? Notice I didn't say fruits and veggies. I said veggies. If you consume more than a serving of fruit per day, you're eating too much fruit. Something else that we have not been taught correctly. So carbohydrates specifically from vegetable sources, very minimal in anything else, and about 20% of what you're consuming. Now, as far as proteins go, this math makes a little bit more sense because you don't absolutely have to track food. It can be really enlightening if you have no idea what your portions look like or how much percentage this would be. And really, it's not about calories in, calories out. It's about how many nutrients are you getting into your system. Sometimes tracking food can be, like I said, enlightening, can be helpful. But as far as protein goes, something simpler is that every fourth bite you take, so the 3 in between should be your veggies, should be protein. And the protein needs to come from clean sources, unadulterated sources. Cows that were grass-fed, not grain-fed and injected with stuff, and eggs from chickens that were raised out in the pasture, not in cages, not farm-raised fish, wild-caught, okay? We want clean sources of our proteins. We were meant to eat meat, okay, of various different types. The only reason why meat has become bad is because of what we've done to it, okay? And sometimes that involves how are we cooking things as well. Smoking and charring it on the grill actually can be really detrimental for your health. Baking is a far better alternative, or lightly sauteing would be safer. So protein, every fourth bite should be protein from clean sources. And then the highest percentage, 50 to 70% of what you're consuming should be coming from healthy fats. Healthy fats are your coconut oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter, your extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocados. okay? 50% to 70%. Vegetables are a great vehicle for getting healthy fats into your system, okay? So that's kind of what your plate looks like. A quarter of it's protein, 3/4 of it is veggies. And then the veggies have a bit of healthy fats drizzled on them to help get them into your system. Sounds pretty delicious, actually. But those are the ratios that we've seen time and time again for decades and decades and decades that actually help you not only hit weight loss goals, but ultimately become healthier overall. Have you heard about these specific ratios before? I'm really curious. So just let me know your response down in the comments below. I would appreciate your feedback. Now we're going to get into the most common mistakes you're unknowingly making that is sabotaging you from hitting your weight loss goals. There are a few of these. If you've ever tried a low carbohydrate diet before, but just feel like you're not getting anywhere, you're not making headway, you're not seeing the scale change, and you're not feeling your clothes change at all either, there are a few different reasons why that could be. Let me share those with you. One of the biggest culprits that I find is that people fear eating fat. We've been conditioned to believe that fat makes us fat, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Now, bad fats you want to avoid like the plague, but these healthy fats actually help you lose weight. In fact, there was a farmer that wanted to like plump up his cows, and so he started feeding the cows coconut oil. He had the leanest, most ripped cows by the end of that season. He didn't even know what to do with them. Fat does not make us fat, okay? These healthy fats actually help reduce inflammation, which helps you stop retaining fluids as well. It gets rid of all the edema that you can't see, but it's inside of you, which is part of what your unresolved weight issue is. And you feel more satisfied, so you don't end up eating as much when you put in good fats. So don't be fearful of fat. Feel free to put them on your veggies, okay? You want to be getting 50 to 70% of what you're eating in the day from these good fats. One other issue that could be happening is it's really, really easy to overindulge in nuts. And while nuts have healthy fats in them, which we do want to get, they also contain a fair amount of carbohydrates. And of all of the nuts, one of the nuts that is like most delicious and one of our family favorites that has the highest amount of carbohydrates are your cashews. How often do you eat a quarter cup of cashews and call it a day? No, you can eat those suckers by the handfuls. So if you're eating too many nuts, that could be sabotaging your weight loss goals because you're getting in too many calories, you're getting in too many carbohydrates, so you've flipped your ratios and your body's just holding on to what you have. Another aspect could be eating too much dairy. Now, my general rule is we don't really consume dairy unless it's grass-fed butter from grass-fed cows, okay? Occasionally, we might have a smidge of cheese here and there, but ultimately we don't consume dairy products. Dairy, specifically with how it's been raised or dairy cows, with how they've been raised in this country, they have a lot of inflammatory properties to them, which ultimately when you put that in your system, it's going to create inflammation in you, which is what we were just talking about with those healthy fats that the body is basically, healthy fats are helping eliminate that inflammation. Well, if you're consuming too much dairy, you're provoking and creating more inflammation, which creates more water retention, which you see reflected in the scale. Okay, so cut out or at least severely reduce the amount of dairy that you're consuming, and that might be a source of what was sabotaging your goals. Another thing that can happen is eating too much too often. When we start changing up how we're eating, there is a mindset piece that has to come with this. I know for me, when I was doing keto, which is low carb to the extreme, I was really satisfied. I was not hungry. But it came around the afternoon when I normally used to have a snack. And because it was part of my routine, mentally, I was like, I should be eating. I had to mentally work to go, hey, you're not actually hungry. So you're still satisfied. You're still burning fats. You don't need to eat right now. So when you're used to eating a lot of carbohydrates don't keep you full for very long. So you have to eat more frequently. So part of this could just be a routine that has to be broken, but you have to be aware that that's something that could be sabotaging you in the first place. So before you get ready to sit down and eat, ask yourself the question, am I hungry? And if you think you're hungry, but you're not sure, drink a glass of water. And then if you still feel hungry after that, go ahead and eat your meal. But if you're not, then maybe it was part of the habit. Maybe you were actually thirsty. All of these are little tricks that can help you only be consuming what you need to consume. If we really could truly appreciate and live by eating only when we're hungry and stopping when we're full, but being present while we're eating so that that message of we've had food can actually make it to the brain in a timely fashion, we would have far less obesity just based off of that. Another one that can totally derail you is sometimes when we cut out some of our favorite sweets, we start feeling deprived and we're really craving them. And now, especially with keto coming into like much more popular demand, there's all these keto, options that are 0 carbohydrates or like 2 or less, that now you think you can consume them and you're safe. And ultimately what it can allow us to do is overindulge in these types of products, which still ultimately add more calories to your diet. And some of those sugar substitutes aren't exactly the best for you and can provoke inflammation also. So you can have something sweet periodically, but maybe keep it, once a week you have a treat and have it be part of the goal of how well you've done, staying on this new form of eating before you decide to indulge in it. And I guarantee you, the further you stay away from sweets, the less you're going to want to crave them because you're letting your body do a reset. Once it's reset, you're not going to crave all of that stuff any longer. So stick it out because you can totally do it. Those are just some of the different things that could be sabotaging you. I mean, there's other like underlying health problems that could keep you from being able to reach your weight goals. Different lifestyle factors of you're not exercising or you're not exercising enough, you're not getting enough sleep, they can play into it as well. So step back and look at what am I doing on a day-to-day basis and what are things or areas that might need some improvement and how can I work on that? In addition to what am I actually eating? Okay, that should totally help you. Now, before I get into the key to permanent weight loss that your doctor won't mention, I would just like to kindly remind you to click that subscribe button right below this video, turn the notifications on. That way you never miss out on a future episode. Guys, I am regularly producing content to help you be able to take back control of your health. Whether it's weight loss or it's less aches and pains or it's more mental clarity, you name it, it is happening on this channel and I don't want you to miss out. I am putting out this information to help you achieve total body mastery. That way you can live life to the fullest in the way that you want to. So just remember, click that subscribe button right down below here and turn those notifications on and you will be good to go. Awesome. The key to permanent weight loss that your doctor won't mention is really being able to get to the underlying cause of why you had weight problems to begin with. And ultimately what that means is, do you have underlying health problems? If you do, you may think that they've been checked off. Like if you have blood pressure, but you're taking a medication for that, in your head, you may have resolved your blood pressure issue, which ultimately you didn't. You took something to at least make your blood pressure not be high, but you didn't take care of the underlying reason why it was high in the first place. Same thing with like type 2 diabetes. If you're taking a blood glucose, blood sugar, lowering medication, you may feel like that issue has been resolved. But not necessarily. If you took away the medication, would the blood sugar go up again? Just like if you took away a blood pressure medication, would your blood pressure go up again? Yes, it's because you didn't take care of the underlying cause of that health problem. And ultimately, if you want permanent weight loss, what you have to understand about weight gain is sometimes it's your body's way of protecting you. Okay? Holding on to extra weight, which also gets into different emotional components that could be related. Like literally weight gain is putting on more of a suit of armor to protect you from emotional hurts. So getting your headspace right, figuring out what actually has created underlying health problems and resolving that is ultimately how you're going to have permanent weight loss and not have to deal with it ever again. What that does is it takes care of the underlying reason as to why you're holding on weight despite all your best efforts. Okay. You want to figure out the underlying cause of that problem. And there is a way to do this. But before we go into all of that, because that's for another episode for you guys, I've already kept you here long enough. I want to jumpstart you on your new way of eating. So if you look in the description right down here, click on it so it expands. I want you to scroll down until you find the 7-day full body reset meal plan. This meal plan is a low carbohydrate meal plan and it shows you exactly what that looks like. That way you don't have to completely write everything down and track it and understand what portion sizes are. If you follow the recipes and the serving sizes, you will be right in the ballpark of what you need to, specifically for those ratios. Okay. This meal plan has been created in a way that you're not going to have to cook every single meal because, oh my gosh, who wants to do that and who has time for that anymore? Okay. So this meal plan was designed for people who are super busy, people who don't like to cook, or people who just have far more going on and can't handle being in the kitchen all day long because there's more life to be living. I've also included your grocery list to make life just super convenient. So you could either just have it right next to you while you're doing your Instacart order or when you're at the store yourself. And then the recipes are all there. Feel free to swap out proteins or something else, as long as you're not going for those carbs, right? You can swap it to something you like more. So if something calls for sausage and you prefer chicken, by all means, you can swap that out really easily. These recipes are easy to make. They don't take much time and they don't have a lot of ingredients, and they've all been approved on a kid. So look down in that description below. Make sure you find the link, get that meal plan, and jumpstart your weight loss journey right now. I appreciate you being here. I hope that this was very helpful and informative. I always appreciate your feedback, so please leave me comments down in the comment section below. I respond to every single one of them, and I just appreciate you being here so much. I'm excited for your weight loss journey and ultimately for helping level up your health as a whole. Here is to being healthy, guys. God bless.